Alarm company's route 7741 Liberty Road Drive, cross streets of Fairview Road and Barkley Downs Drive, 16 still. It's called in by one of the construction workers on site. They advised the trailer was on fire inside of a parking deck.
We're evacuating the building. We're evacuating the building.
Hey, y'all back there. Get Chris out of there now.
Mayday, man.
Command ladder 1, the Mayday.
One of the largest fires in Charlotte's history.
I knew that my life was in danger.
Heroes put their lives on the line.
Still have 2 workers.
You have 2 workers on floor 4.
2 men lost theirs.
I can't get out. Trapped inside.
Tonight, WBTV takes you inside the South Park fire.
They didn't have a plan. They didn't train on the plan.
You think that they could have been saved?
Absolutely, 100%.
Breaking down what happened, second by second, with never-before-seen video, analyzed by experts. And for the first time, family members sit down to share the emotional toll this fire has had on those left behind.
And they just made me feel helpless.
And the heroic worker who tried to save them.
Ladder 2 is the only thing keeping that crane operator safe. You shut down, that's it.
WBTV investigates fire and failure.
4 months ago, DeMonte Sherrill and Reuben Holmes died in the building behind me. These apartments under construction turned into an inferno. Those 2 men died despite heroic efforts to rescue them, even as fire spread and the building collapsed. The question investigative reporter David Hodges is asking now, could their deaths have been prevented?
Yeah, and that's what I went to work to find out. And what I discovered is many of the answers are found before firefighters ever even arrived, even before the fire started. I've obtained a copy of the Charlotte Fire Department's investigative file, giving us a first-hand look at what fire investigators know and a second-by-second account of what happened.
And as you're about to see, that file reveals a chain reaction of mistakes that led to the deadly blaze and the failure to evacuate everyone in the building. Now we're hearing from family, eyewitnesses, and national experts looking through the facts and weighing in on what needs to happen to avoid another tragedy like this.
Charlotte Fire Department, what's the address of your emergency?
Charlotte Fire Department, what's the address of the emergency?
Charlotte Fire Department, what's the address of your emergency?
See how heavy this smoke
Charlotte Fire Department, what's the address of your emergency?
Charlotte Fire Department, what's the address of your emergency? Fire Department, what is the address of your emergency?
I just got a public safety alert.
Charlotte Fire Department.
Do not call 911 unless you have an emergency.
Charlotte Fire Department, what is the address of your emergency?
It's at South Park Mall in Charlotte. I see a huge fire, black smoke.
Ma'am, we are on scene with a 4-alarm fire there.
Hey, we need to work on getting ladder 2 out.
Hundreds of videos, pictures, and documents reviewed, analyzed, and deconstructed by the WBTV news team. Together, they tell the story of the South Park construction fire. Put them in order, and it tells the story of what happened second by second, what went wrong, and what led to the deaths of DeMonte Sherrill and Reuben Holmes. The blaze broke out at an apartment building under construction on Liberty Road Drive. It's one of 2 buildings under construction right across the street from each other. The fire started here in a trailer with chemicals to make spray foam insulation. The worker spraying the foam was 1 floor up. Sherrill and Holmes were on the 6th floor, here. We can show you how people reacted with security cameras on the sides of the buildings. We can identify where the fire started with notes from fire investigators. And we know where Sherrill and Holmes were.
Building on fire, and I can't get out.
When they realized they were trapped and started calling for help.
It's getting harder and harder for them to see us. We're gonna have to stand out here and see.
But by then, it was too late. To understand why, we have to go back to the beginning. The security cameras start at 8:45 a.m., where we see a construction crew already at work by the north stairwell. By that point, workers had already attended a morning safety meeting. The job site superintendent told investigators everyone attended except the crew operating the spray foam trailer, the same trailer that would catch fire and engulfed the entire building. This TikTok video was taken by a construction worker. The caption in Spanish says it's the exact moment where it all started. The trailer was on the parking garage ramp leading to the second floor. Cheryl and Holmes were on the south side of the 6th floor, more than 250 feet from the only staircase in the building, which was on the north side, about the length of a football field away. The records don't say definitively when the fire started, only that it was discovered at 8:55.
This interview is in reference to a fire off of Fairview Road. If you could, just tell me about what happened.
I was in leasing, first floor, zone 1, building B.
This interview between a CMPD arson investigator and an employee on the construction site gives us the best insight into what happened after the fire was discovered.
I hear someone yelling, fire, fire, fire. Sprinkler, it was a sprinkler guy, Matt. So I ran towards the situation. Paul Gruff was in process of running to the situation with the fire extinguisher. I took his fire extinguisher. He grabbed another one. Me and Kevin Rivas went to spraying enclosed trailer white that was engulfed in flames. To find out it was the spray foam trailer. It did have chemicals. Could not get it contained. It kept igniting.
The trailer looked like this. Investigators snapped these photos of a near identical trailer at the job site next door. It's loaded with a generator and barrels of chemicals, including isocyanate, a chemical that can't be put out with a normal fire extinguisher if it goes up in flames. At 9:01, construction workers are still on site looking toward the fire. Records show the first call to 911 came more than 7 minutes after the fire was discovered by the job site superintendent.
We have a fire. We have a fire. I'll open the fire department. Don't hang up. Okay.
Fire department. What's the address of the emergency?
7741 Liberty Road Drive, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay, 7741 Liberty Road Drive?
Yes, sir, Charlotte, North Carolina.
What's going on there, sir?
We have a trailer on fire inside the parking deck.
Okay, so it's the trailer like to the back of a truck?
Yes, sir, it's a trailer that has some equipment on it. We've sprayed fire extinguishers, but it continues to burn, sir. Okay. We're evacuating the building.
Is there anybody still in the vehicle at all?
No, sir, not that we know of.
Okay, can you
We're evacuating the building. 911.
Okay, and again, it's just the back trailer part. It's not the actual cab?
It's the trailer, sir, that's not hooked to a truck. It's an individual trailer that you pull with the vehicle.
Okay.
It doesn't have a motor.
Okay. All right, sir. We're getting some help started. 7741 Liberty Road Drive. Again, I know you said everybody's evacuated, but just keep everybody away from it.
All right, keep everybody out of the building. All right, thank you.
If anything changes, call us back on 911.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, stop.
Move. Move out of the way. We need to make room for the fire department.
Even though the dispatcher thought everyone was evacuated, it's clear from the video that's not the case. A second 911 call paints a picture of a scene in chaos.
Do you see people evacuating? I just want to make sure that they're getting away from it.
I mean, I see the construction workers running around, but I don't know if anyone's leaving the parking deck.
In fact, the video shows the calls for evacuation didn't start until the end of the first 911 call.
It kept igniting, so me and Kevin decided to clear the building. We ran every floor yelling, fire, 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 all the way to the top and to the roof. Got the roofers out. On the way down, continued to yell, fire, fire, fire.
You see the first large group of workers start to evacuate nearly 10 minutes after the fire was first discovered. Experts we spoke to say that's far too late.
He should have immediately reported it. He should have immediately evacuated the building. They wasted time trying to, quote unquote, fight the fire with those little extinguishers.
Under North Carolina Fire Code, the site safety is the job of the owner or owner's authorized agent. In practice, experts say that authority is passed to the contractor. For South Park, that is Mill Creek Residential.
Builders are responsible for creating a culture of fire safety, and it really starts from the top down. The problem is that The builders aren't following the codes because they don't even know they exist.
Still ahead on WBTV Investigates Fire and Failure.
You think that they could have been saved?
100%, not a doubt in my mind.
Is that frustrating to hear?
It's very frustrating.
Yo, I'm at South Park right now. At work, in a building on fire.
WBTV has dissected every moment of the South Park construction fire to try and answer one question.
Trapped inside, me and my man.
What could have been done to prevent two needless deaths? Could DeMonte Sherrill and Reuben Holmes have been saved?
Saddens me, it disappoints me.
We sat down with two of the country's leading experts on construction fire safety to get answers.
I'm not shocked by any of it because I know how the culture is in the construction world.
Raymond Obrocki is manager of fire service relations at the American Wood Council and has served as a firefighter, fire marshal, and building inspector.
Construction fires are continuing to become more prevalent.
Joseph Cervantes is a development manager at Space Age Electronics and has more than 25 years of experience on construction sites. Both have helped write and influence International Fire Code. They track construction fires nationwide. Obrocki even came to Charlotte.
I visited the scene and I got a chance to talk with folks that were first responders.
We armed both men with this timeline video created from the files in the Charlotte Fire Department investigation. We asked them to analyze all of it.
Well, let's get into this video.
That's problem number one.
It is unfathomable.
There's warning signs.
You think that they could have been saved?
Absolutely.
You've described failures at multiple levels.
It's this causal chain that is assembled, and if you take one link out of the chain, then the end result doesn't happen.
Cervantes and Obrocki identified so many issues on the site, we broke them down into three separate categories: preparation, notification, evacuation.
There was only one available stairwell for the employees, and believe it or not, that's all the code requires. And I think that's inadequate. It's probably one of the reasons the two construction workers couldn't get out, and it's one of the reasons that a fire crew was almost lost in this fire.
A standpipe is required in a building under construction once the structure reaches 40 feet in height.
The standpipe is real simple. It's just a vertical pipe, and there usually is one in every stair tower. That way, the fire department, instead of having to hook up to their fire engine and pump water, they just hook to that floor, and the fire department will assume that it has a working standpipe.
We're making our way to the standpipe now.
And it didn't.
So this dramatically changes what the firefighters have to do.
We don't have a way to put it out.
The other part of this was not having a completed pre-fire plan.
It was imperative that they do, and it's required by the codes to have that.
Is it inexcusable to not have one of these done on a site like this?
Absolutely. There is no excuse for it. It gives visibility to the construction milestone progress as far as the exposure potential, the potential danger to the public.
Oh, it's jumped to a hotel now.
The address of the building, where the hydrants are.
Check the hydrant on Barkley down behind us.
The reason you have a pre-plan is so you can sit down and in a very calm and sober way map out, this is what needs to happen during a fire.
Hey, stop, move out of the way.
You can tell there's a lot of disorganization when it came to when the fire started because they didn't have a plan, they didn't train on the plan.
There's nothing in the files that I have that say when the fire started, but do you think it's before this time?
It has to be. It could have started 10 minutes even before this. Anytime you have a running piece of equipment that's fuel fired, it has to be attended to. And it wasn't attended to by the construction site. If they would have had somebody attending to that spray foam trailer while it was running with an extinguisher of sufficient size, this would have been a non-issue.
I hear someone yelling, fire, fire, fire. I ran towards the situation. I took his fire extinguisher.
You have somebody playing basically telephone. Hey, there's a fire situation. Okay, go grab an extinguisher, and then he gets there.
You see those little fire extinguishers. Anybody with any training would know that you don't have a prayer of putting out that fire.
Could not get it contained. It kept igniting.
There was absolutely no chance of them extinguishing the fire. They should have immediately reported it. They should have immediately evacuated the building.
Charlotte, do you need fire or medical?
We got a fire.
And it is 9:02 before 911 is called. What's your reaction?
Too long. 7 minutes is way too long.
Absolutely, it's too long. I mean, these buildings can be fully involved within 10 minutes. The time was squandered by inaction.
Those moments matter. 5 to 6 minutes that we're watching here between the time that they noticed that there was a bad situation going on and the time that they actually went to go alert workers, it's the matter of life and death. This is something that gets me as a person who's worked on these sites.
We're evacuating the building.
And I know you said everybody's evacuated, but just keep everybody away from it.
All right, keep everybody out of the building.
He said he was evacuating the building, and they're kind of milling about.
Nobody's running. Nobody's acting with a sense of urgency.
There's so much wasted time here that it's really sad.
Kept igniting, so me and Kevin decided to clear the building. We ran every floor yelling, fire, fire, fire.
In terms of an evacuation plan, is that adequate?
No.
OSHA 1926.150 subsection E1 indicates that an alarm system, a telephone system, some sort of a siren system, shall be established. Yelling fire, fire, fire is not an alarm system.
This is the first sign of an evacuation, really.
10 minutes after the fire is discovered. They should have been out by now. If they had been trained or directed to go in and start getting everybody out, everybody would have been standing in the parking lot by the time the fire department got there.
The fact that the people inside of this building didn't even recognize that there were horns and sirens and stuff coming from the fire department vehicles tells me that the PPE that they were using to cover their ears and the ambient noise from the construction activities obviously led to them not being aware that there was a fire going on.
We're gonna have to stand out here and see.
We ran every floor yelling, fire, fire, fire. All the way to the top and to the roof.
The building on fire, I'm trapped inside, me and my man.
Got the roofers out. On the way down, continued to yell, fire, fire, fire.
It's just very possible they couldn't hear him yelling fire, fire, fire.
Absolutely. I almost guarantee that they couldn't.
There's a couple things at play. One, the delay in evacuating. 2, the lack of a comprehensive plan. And 3, only one stairwell. So I don't think that any one factor caused the two to be trapped. I think it was a host of factors.
All of those factors combined, that's stuff that could have been done better on this job site.
Absolutely. If you could have, like I said, I can't hit this point enough, had a plan and trained on the plan, everybody would have known what to do.
The lack of response or the lack of urgency, I think, is just the most critical in this. But, you know, let's not lose sight of the fact that 2 human beings lost their lives.
More to come on WBTV Investigates Fire and Failure.
The last image I have of him was him basically begging for his life in the building. So that's really hard.
The building on fire, I'm trapped inside.
Outside the fire, people could hear DeMonte Sherrill shouting to be saved. No one could make it to him.
I'm at South Park right now, at work. The building on fire.
So he started streaming on Facebook Live to ask for help.
Help! Help!
His video has been watched more than 500,000 times, including by his mom.
The last image I have of him was him basically begging for his life in the building. So that's really hard.
We sat down with Sherrill's parents, Onita Sherrill and Terry Campbell, who, along with their lawyers, are speaking for the first time. They want you to know there is much more about their son they are going to miss.
His smile and his just humble spirit, he was very humble.
And he does a lot for the kids.
He lived and breathed for his children.
And there's the little moments.
He spent a lot of time with my cousin.
The memories that always come with a smile.
I had picked them up and they was like, we need peanut butter. And I'm like, peanut butter? I mean, even with him being grown, we would tease him like, you want peanut butter and jelly? And he would just laugh, but he still loved peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Oh, crunchy or smooth?
Smooth.
All right, we're different.
DeMonte Sherrill, the one with the smile, worked hard for his 4 kids, loved smooth peanut butter. He lost his life in a construction fire and gave the world a window into his terrifying last moments.
You think that they could have been saved?
100%, not a doubt in my mind.
Joseph Cervantes and Raymond Obraki believed their deaths could have been prevented.
No standpipe, no evacuation plan, the delay in notification. I mean, these all factored into why 2 people were killed and the building was lost.
Is that frustrating to hear?
It's very frustrating.
Really. They shouldn't even been working in there if all that stuff wasn't in place.
DeMonte's parents hope that his death can be a catalyst to make construction sites safer.
Everything should be properly checked before any person is allowed to do anything. I mean, we have to take tests to get driver's license. So why not make sure all the safety precautions are there for things like this?
Do you think his loss could be a part of change to make people safer here?
Yes.
I do.